filming now.
Hello.
How you doing?
Gail. Good to see you.
All right, it's Does that work? Good morning, everybody. Kaya, Buddhist Mom, Buddhist Yoga, Buddhist Coolangar. I hope Richard's not listening in case I get my pronunciations wrong. Wanju Wanju Noongar Budja, which means welcome together on Noongar country. So I'm John McBain. You'll see over here the Antar sea of hands spelling out Wanju, one of the nicest phrases in the Noongar language in my opinion, and very inclusive thing, which is what our society of course needs. This event is partly funded by the WA Waste Authority, so you'll hear speakers talking about how the Noongar societies have lived on this land for a long time, and they used everything, they respected everything, and they didn't have any such thing as waste, which is a bit different to our society. So this event is also sponsored by Antar WA, and we have some committee members here, including myself, and of course the Murdoch Community Garden, which is located inside the Environmental Technology Centre at Murdoch University. And what we focus on there is sustainable food systems. So we're encouraging no waste today. Around the side here there's a worm farm, and John Waller from the Murdoch Community Garden here has brought along a food waste bin. So we don't want to leave any waste behind, just like the Noongar people, well, in a slightly different way to what the Noongar people would have done. And speaking of Noongar people, we're really fortunate to have one of the recognised leaders of Noongar country here today, Dr. Richard Walley, and he's going to get me off the microphone and take over. Thank you, Richard. And thank you everyone for coming.
Thanks, John. Kaya ngara job jenang nunuk na jenengan ngara koromot ngara ya ngara boromot boja kaya wa. Maman jenang nunuk na wangin jenang kada jenang wangin jenang ngani wangin maman jenang nunuk kaya wa. Ngara job jenang nunuk na gabakan jenengan ngara koromot boja na ya mot boja wokong kopong boja kaya wa. Ngara jenengan born ngara koromot born jenengan nunuk. Anak jenengan na boja kaya kan kopong boja ay di kaya din boja. Iya, the boja ka kaya wa. Anak jenengan na pindah ngan kopong rinin na kep dan dia ada kep na kopong kep. Anak jenengan kopong jenengan alenya kada na kada into the wadan nara koromot boja kaya wa. Sid, may the good spirit be with us this morning and guide us through our gathering and presentation, and give those who are talking and presenting today the capacity and the ability to relay their message, and those who receive the message the ability to pass it on to those who require it. And there's a lot of people who require messaging. I also said this is a part of the Wajak country. We call this the Wajak the Budja. The Budja is the land, the Born of course is the trees, and the Budjagar is the sand. We've got into Pindar. The Pindar is the lake system that links us all up over the hills to the lakes. We've got the Warradam, which is the ocean, and the ocean links us again regardless of where you're from in the world. And I also said when we share some food and share some drink here today, may the good spirit be with us and guide us through that. We have many songs and many stories that go with our locations. No place is it put there by accident. There's an evolution that's around you here. It took thousands of years to evolve into what we see. Some of these plants, like the barrelga, you see the grass trees and that behind, they're some thousands of years old. You've got the zamia, son of the Boran, and the zamia palms that are over here come from the people called the prehistoric time. We saw it from the dreaming time. And those sort of things are very important because they link us again to our past and our present and our future. When I talk about our Goramort, Yayamort, Buddhamort, it's the people from the past and the present. We have a responsibility today to make sure that the children and our grandchildren are following us are not asking the question. They won't be asking, "Oinja karak, man goring and bora, poor karak." You know, in the past, people used to say there was thousands of birds, like the black cockatoos, used to fly around here. And of course, if you destroy a tree, you're destroying more than just a habitat for a bird. There's a whole link that actually links that tree to the ground, and it links that bird, and that bird links to another part of another part plant. So there's a link in nature that makes us all responsible to make sure that we're a part of it. We don't actually own it. So in our culture, that was one of the biggest challenges we had to actually prove our existence. Why we have to prove our existence, particularly with native title and places like that, is that if you leave no trace anywhere, if you go and live somewhere and you leave no trace, people can't see where you've been, so you can't prove that we put this rock here 1,000 years ago and that rock's a landmark, or you actually put up a fence, or you've got these markings. The true environmental system is that when leave no trace, you don't see any trace. And also our border lines are actually interlinked. So we didn't have these border lines where you had these rows of gates and fences and stuff that keep people apart. Our border lines actually linked people, so we shared them. So if you see the hills over here on they call that the Karamurunda, the dark hills, the Darling Ranges. Those dark hills are the links between Wajak and Balladong. So it's not a line that separates. So Wajak can walk over the hill, Balladong can walk over here, we share that. And that is the blueprint for social harmony. So not only did we have environmental harmony with nature, we had also social harmony within each other. So, and this is one of the epicenters I always maintain. This is an epicenter of social harmony. Because in this land here, there's no organised warfare ever took place. So we never had an army to fight anyone else. We had arguments and we had fights, and we still have them now, particularly with relations and people who are close. The closer you are, the bigger the fights. But you never had the organised warfares. So these are some of the world's treasures, not just us to embrace, but you can go to many parts of the world and tell people, I come from a place of social harmony where there's no recorded conflict, organised conflict. So with that in mind, I won't speak too long as I can keep you going. I'd just like to do a couple of little songs, if I got a couple of kids to do some volunteering up here, we'll do a little story of how we can connect together. So I'll do a song and a story, because if I can have kids come up here to open this up, we need to share this out. So volunteers, half a dozen kids or so. I need kids come up, we're going to do a little bit of story, and you can work with me. We're going to story. Yeah, parents can come up with them and help them out. Come and stand with them so they can. You can stand with the kids. We can do it together. We're going to form a little line here. We're going to do a little story called "A Land of Bits and Pieces" for you. Okay, we're going to stand in a line and we're going to tell you a story. And all we have to do is follow my actions, and the parents can follow as well. This is a story that takes place in this little land, and this land was in this dark valley. In this dark valley, there was hands that was hanging around. There was heads nodding around. There was feet that were standing around. And there's bodies that were swaying around. But they're never in bits. They're all in bits and all in pieces, never together. So there's hands over here, and there's feet over there. Heads were over here, and the bodies were laying around over here. And nothing ever happened in this dark valley of the land of bits and pieces. Then one day, well done, one day this hand decided it was going to get out of this place. So the hand went to the side of the mountain. It grabbed hold of a rock, but that's as far as it got. So it hopped down and started scratching its thumb, thinking real hard. If I'm going to get out of here, I need someone to give me a hand. Aha, he thought, another hand. So the hand went back to the land of bits and pieces and saw this other hand just hanging around. And it said to the other hand, how'd you like to join me and we can get out of here? Sure, said the hand. So the two hands went back to the side of the mountain, and the first hand grabbed the rock. The second hand grabbed the rock. But as far as they got, they hopped down and they started having a conversation. The one hand said, I wouldn't mind getting up to that ledge up there. That ledge, the other hand said, that ledge just leaves a foot away. A foot, they thought. Aha. So back to the land of bits and pieces, and there was this foot just twisting around at the time. And they said to the foot, how'd you like to join us? We can get out of here. Sure, said the foot. So they went back to the side of the mountain. The first hand grabbed the rock. The second hand grabbed the rock. The foot reached up for the ledge, but down they fell, and the foot said, what are you trying to do? They said, get to that ledge, it's a foot away. The foot said, no, that's at least 2 feet. 2 feet, they said. That's when they went back to the land of bits and pieces, and there's this other foot just tapping at the time. And they said to this foot that was tapping, how'd you like to join us and we can get out of here? Sure, said the foot. This time they said, we've got it. They went back to the side of the mountain. The first hand grabbed the rock. The second hand grabbed the rock. The foot reached up on the ledge, the next foot on the ledge. But as far as they got, so they hopped down and they said, we need to spread out. The hand said, I need to grab that rock over there. The foot said, I need to get on this ledge over here. What we need is to be way apart. We're too close. We need somebody to keep us apart. Aha, they said, somebody, that's what we need. So they went back to the land of bits and pieces, and there was this body just swaying at the time. And they said to the body, can you join us and we can get out of here? I am able. Sure, said the body. So they went back to the side of the mountain. They said, we've got it this time. The first hand grabbed the rock. Second hand grabbed the rock. Foot went up onto the ledge. Next foot up to the ledge. The hand crossed, the body swayed, the feet kicked, and down they fell. And the hand said, just a minute. I didn't know what the body was doing. The body swayed and said, well, I didn't know what the feet were doing. And the feet said, well, I didn't know what anyone's doing. What we need is cooperation and coordination. If we don't have cooperation and coordination, we'll never get ahead. They said, get ahead. So they went back to the land of bits and pieces, and there was this head just nodding at the time. And they said to the head, how'd you like to join us and we can get out of here? Sure, said the head, that way we can go ahead. So they went back to the side of the mountain. The hand reached up for the rock, and the head said, what are you trying to do? They said, we want to get up to the top of the mountain over here. The head said, well, instead of climbing up the ledges and the rocks, why don't we walk up the footpath? Good idea, they thought. So they walked up the footpath, and when they got to the top, they saw at the end there was birds flying, there was rivers flowing, there were trees in the breeze, and there were things like emus and kangaroos. And they looked back where they come from, and they saw these bits and pieces still hanging around. There's still hands hanging around, bodies still laying around, heads still nodding. And they decided if we stick together and work together, we can go to wherever we like. And that's how they got out of the land of bits and pieces. So I thank our little volunteers. We tell that story for a number of reasons. Together, if we work together collectively, things happen. Also, if you're aiming for an objective, sometimes it comes from other areas. Your way may not be the only way. And as things join up, you find that nature takes care of itself, and it always does. And we also have to take care of nature whenever we can. So thanks this morning. I'll finish up by doing a little song for you. John, thanks for your group for organising this, and Antar and the sponsors. These sorts of things are very important. It's not a matter of how many people are here, it's how much energy you bring to it. Unfortunately, we can't stay for long. We've got to go to a couple of other appointments we have. But thank you very much. And I'll finish up by doing a little song about sharing food. We call it ngarning. And the sharing of the food is very important to us. We call it ngarninye. Barmin Yonga, if Mia knows some of these little words, so we're going to Barmin Yonga and Barmin Jiljit, the spearing, born again, Canadian born, getting the born from the course of nose courage, and there's different names for it out of the ground. Ngani nye kopen ngani nye ngala buji ba mi yong ngani nye
ngani 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 nye ko ban ngani nye ba min jiu dit ma ni nye ngala ngani nye koreng ngani nye borna ngani nye ngala buji ngani nye. Kaya, Mum and Gentlemen, may the good spirit be with you, and I'll hand you back to John.
Thanks very much, Richard. He never ceases to amaze us with the beautiful stories and style that he's got in portraying information to people. We've got some other amazing speakers here today, and some musos. We've got a lady called Pearl Smith from Broome. Don't just wave. Come on, Pearl. Come over here and plug in. This might take her a couple of seconds to get set up, so just be patient. So Pearl's a Yaru girl, a young woman from Broome, and she writes and sings her own songs, and she's going to sing you a beautiful one about country. We've got some other amazing Aboriginal people here today from different parts of the country. You probably know Lois Olney sitting over there in the armchair. She's a Ngarama woman, Ngarama Yamaji woman from the northwest and the goldfields. And we got Faye sitting next to her, Noongar lady. And we got Nadine sitting down here, Yamaji woman. Am I right there? No, Yamaji. Sorry, Bunjima. Yep, Bunjima. And of course we got Robin, Richard's wife, Noongar woman. Yep. And last but certainly not least, Aunty Josie Boyle, who'll be up here telling a few yarns and making everyone crack up. I expect she always cracks me up. And of course we got Brother Boy over here, who's come over from New South Wales. Sorry, bro, I forgot your name. Come up and introduce yourself. And tell us why you're hanging out at the camp. He's been down at the camp on North Lake Road for ages. And
my name's Neville Kirk. I'm a Kamilaroi boy from Burke, New South Wales. Yeah, I just down at the protection camp, looking after the camp with everybody that's down there, showing them our traditional dress and everything, and yeah, that's about it. Thanks for that.
Hello everyone, my name is Pearl Smith and I'm gonna sing for you my country song. This one's called What Are You Gonna Do? When you walk this great big land, but other people have a plan to do what they wanna do, but it doesn't involve you. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? When you wanna have your say, but other people walk away, there's nothing you can really do. Just try to get your message through. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? When you walk this great big land, but other people have a plan to do what they wanna do, but it doesn't involve you. What are you gonna do? 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 Thanks.
Cool. Right. We might leave the lead plugged in. Is that alright, Dave, to leave that plugged in? Thanks very much, Pearl. Pearl's just moved down to Perth to study at AB Music from Broome. And how do I extend this up, Dave? Hold on. Do this. You can tell I'm not a muso. That's better. Okay, now we've got such an amazing range of speakers that it's hard to choose who's going to go next. Aunty Josie, aren't you going to say anything? After. All right, is Dale here? Yeah. Dale has, you'll find out why we've got her to speak about bush tucker, because she's cooked the kangaroo stew that we're going to eat a little bit later on. So, Dale, tell us a few yarns about Aboriginal food and waste and all that sort of stuff, please. Down again.
Yeah, good.
Wrong one. There we go. How's that?
There we go. Kaya. Danyan Queladale Nan Wardandi Bibbulmanyok. I'm a Wardandi Bibbulman woman, so that means my traditional country is around Bustleton, Margaret River, Augusta, and I acknowledge the elders past and present of the Whadjuk country here today. Thank you for letting me speak on your land. I love talking about bush food. I mean, as you can see, I like food in general, but particularly bush tucker, because this was what sustained us. This is what our mother, Budjara, Mother Earth, gave us to sustain us. But bush tucker has changed a lot over the time since European settlement. Once our big supermarket out there was full of food. It's still there if you know where to look, but it's not in the same abundance, and everything is under threat at the moment. What's happening down the road here at the moment is something that I was talking to somebody about earlier today. You know, when is it enough? When is it enough to keep chopping away at our mother? And they likened it to death by 1,000 cuts, and it's still going on today. So to maintain our food, we need to identify our food, make sure we keep that old knowledge of our plants, and save our seeds, save our plants, and be ready to reintroduce them to Mother Earth when the time is right. That does happen now, but not enough. So while we can still save our plants and our seeds, we should be doing this. I recently had the great privilege to go to Italy to represent my local slow food convivium at Terra Madre, huge festival in Italy, celebrating food at its most basic level. Fair food, good fair food, protecting biodiversity and conserving old traditions. And the reason why I'm in slow food is because I find that the ethos of slow food and the Aboriginal approach to food and land go hand in hand, and I like working with a cohort of people who all have the same vision and values as I have. And when I was at Terra Madre, at Indigenous Terra Madre, they had an Indigenous Terra Madre forum, and I was asked to address Indigenous Terra Madre, and that was also a great privilege. And I was amazed at how little people knew about Australian Aboriginal people, and particularly from the African contingent. They were just like, tell us more, tell us more, tell us more, tell us more, we want to know more, we want to know more. Just talking even on the simplest level about our 6 seasons and walking across the land according to the seasons. They were hugely interested and fascinated, and I can't wait to continue my contact with these people through the Indigenous Terra Madre network. But Carlo Petrini, the founder of Slow Food, also spoke at Indigenous Terra Madre, and I was deeply moved by what he said. And he basically said that humanity is walking towards the abyss, and at the front are the mega consumers and Monsanto and all the people who don't really have regard for the earth. They just have regard for what the earth can give them and how much money they can take. And so it goes down the food chain till you get right to the end. And at the end, the last people, the least important people in the world now, poor Indigenous women. But he said these people are the most important people on the planet today. Because when we actually get to the edge of the abyss and we decide that we don't want to walk any further and fall into the abyss, we want to turn round and go back the other way, the people who will lead us will be the poor Indigenous women, because they are the keepers of the seeds and they are keepers of the knowledge of the land. So to me, this is a deeply moving and deeply touching way of looking at Indigenous culture as well. And we have many such women here in Australia still. Our poor Indigenous women, our people who live on communities, who, if they're lucky, might get a minute on First Contact to tell the story of dispossession going over 200 years. But they still are the keepers of the knowledge, and these should be our living treasures here today, the people who have got that knowledge. And it is behoven to all of us to respect these people, to nurture these people, and to ask them respectfully to share their knowledge with us so that we can preserve all that knowledge for the future, for the day when we can reintroduce a lot of these plants to the land, or make sure that they at least still have a place in this world. When I think about the southwest of Western Australia, which is Noongar country, which is my land, and think of the clearing that's happened, it's hard to imagine now what the great western woodlands once looked like. It's hard to imagine that there were once Zamia forests 30 feet tall. I haven't ever seen a Zamia 30 feet tall, but they were there. And if you look at the early settler maps, you'll see marked on those maps warren holes. So if you don't know very much about our local languages, you'd be forgiven for thinking we're talking about rabbits. But of course the rabbits weren't here then, so there were no rabbit warrens. So what were these warren holes? Warren is our word for the yam grown in the Perth area, Dioscorea hastifolia. It's a long, thin, white yam. And this was one of our foods that we grew. It wasn't just harvested from the wild, we cultivated it. So that dispels another myth about Aboriginal people, that we didn't have any agriculture. We did have agriculture, but the way we practiced agriculture was working in harmony with the land. And these warren holes, these warren gardens, could support hundreds of people gathering for ceremony in that particular place at any one time. So you can imagine how extensive these gardens had to be. If you've ever seen a warren, it is not a big tuber. It is a very long, thin, deep tuber. You have to follow a little green tendril down and dig. Loosen the dirt with your digging stick and scoop it out with the other hand, and not lose sight of that tendril, and don't break off the yam too soon to get it out. But of course our old girls were really smart. They figured out a long time ago that doing it individually like that was very hard work. So when they dug out a yam, they didn't fill in the hole afterwards. They left that hole open. And so that's why these were warren holes. These were open open holes, and that meant the next time the women came to dig, and we only visited the yam gardens here twice a year, once in Cherrin autumn and once in Cumberung late spring. It was easier to dig sideways through the earth rather than down. And while we were away, the holes allowed Mother Earth, nature, to nurture our gardens for us. So those holes were collecting leaf litter and water, and so we were providing nutrients and water to the garden just by allowing Mother Nature to do that on our behalf. And as we dug the yams out, if we found a rock, we'd take it out. This is going to make life easier next time. But we didn't just discard those rocks. We would actually create dry stone walls, strategically placed around the yam gardens, to stop water rushing through the gardens and washing them away. So very carefully we protected our gardens, and those stone walls would collect more leaf litter and more nutrients that could be gently washed through the yam garden at the right time. And of course, kangaroos and emus and other animals don't like uneven ground. So they would stay away from our yam gardens, and our food crop was protected. So these particular yams grew from here around the Perth area right up through Ewart country as well. And when Lieutenant George Gray was shipwrecked north of Kalbarri and had to walk back like he had a good Noongar guide, when they walked back through Ewart country, he described yam gardens so extensive that he couldn't see where they began and where they ended. And they were 4 or 5 miles across. There were wells dug in the yam gardens, and there were stone buildings which just needed their thatch repaired the next time the population came back. They didn't see any people because it wasn't the time they were going to dig the yams. Mother Nature was doing her job and nurturing the gardens for them. So all this information, all this knowledge about Aboriginal agriculture and Aboriginal food systems has been faithfully recorded from day one by the Europeans when they came here. And then they went, yep, see what's happening here, and yep, look at all those people, they're happy, healthy, well fed, and we'll just get rid of all of that. And we will rip up all the land and replace with our own crops. When those early settlers first came here, all their early journals say that they were living in paradise because they could eat meat whenever they wanted to. Kangaroo was just wonderful because they came from a society where they would have eaten meat very, very rarely. Most people forget that the staple food in England before Christopher Columbus brought potatoes back and before grain crops were grown en masse after the Industrial Revolution, that the staple food there was parsnips. So, they didn't come from a very well-resourced area at the time. It was overpopulated. The populations that were on the land had been driven from the land and into the cities, and it was a mess. And so they came here and made another mess. And I don't blame any of those people because they didn't know better. But our old people knew better. They told them, if you take away the trees, you will make the land sick. And that's exactly what happened. So the land, which was wonderfully cladded with woodlands, had the trees ripped up. And what happens when you take out deep-rooted trees and replace them with shallow-rooted crops? The water table rises and pushes the salt to the surface. So now more than 1/3 of that cleared land is given over to salt, and it really doesn't matter how many trees we all try to push back into the ground, we haven't actually got back a single inch. And if you go to country towns now, they talk about concrete cancer, it's not really a concrete cancer, it's the salts rising up and destroying buildings. So this is a legacy that we have to live with and manage, and I think it's incumbent upon all of us to take whatever knowledge we have and whatever power we have to look after our butcher, to look after our land as well as we can. And as I said before, I love joining up with people who share my values and share my visions for the future. And sometimes this is in a very formal way, so I'm a member of Slow Food. I'm also a member of the Bush Food Association of WA and many other organisations. But we all work for the same thing. We all work for the land. We all work to maintain good food systems, food security, and my particular interest is bush food. So today I've cooked you some kangaroo stew, and in that you'll find it's been thickened with wattle seed instead of using white flour, so that's a useful wattle seed that you probably hadn't thought of before. Unroasted wattle seed is really creamy and nutty, and anytime you're doing some cooking you want to thicken something up, just a couple of spoons of wattle seed will thicken it up and also give it that beautiful taste. And also today you're eating sweet potato mash. We're only eating sweet potato mash because we don't have any local crops of tubers, our local tubers, that I can offer you instead. But these are the goals that we're working towards through Bush Food, to encourage the cultivation of our local foods, so that one day I'll be able to come here and say, we've got kangaroo stew thickened up with wattle seed and we're having yolk with it, or we're having warren with it. So it's very early stages here, and I'm looking forward to the day then we see more people growing these crops and being able to share them with you. There's also some smoked kangaroo there. And so for the vegans and vegetarians, we've got the sweet potato mash and some cheese and biscuits and some lovely chutneys and things there as well. Now, I have probably said enough. I mean, people always accuse me of not having an off button. So thank you very much for your attention today. I'm turning off. Thank you.
Thank you, Dale. That was lovely. We're really fortunate to be able to hear from people like Richard and Dale, because their stories of country go back thousands and thousands of years. And when we think about, we call this event closed food systems, and when you think about what is a closed food system, it means there's no waste. But Indigenous food systems went far beyond that. So this whole country was a free supermarket, and there was no cash register, and people only took what they needed and they shared. And if you compare that to today's society, we've obviously got a lot to learn from those underlying cultural values, where in today's society we waste a lot, and food is basically allocated by people's capacity to pay. So the knowledge behind bush tucker and the ways that Noongar people and First Nations people all around the world interacted with the environment and each other is just so important to all of us on this shared planet at this point in time, because we're obviously going down some pretty funny paths as a global society. And one of the groups of people I was really fortunate to learn from was, I had an Italian neighbour when I was farming down at Rosa Brook out the back of Margaret River. And you know, there's his stories of growing up during the Second World War and what they had to do to survive. You know, they were eating dandelion leaves and stuff like that. It was just amazing. He was also one of those people I could just ring up, you know, at 3 o'clock in the morning and say, look, I've got trouble with a cow or my wife or whatever, and he'd come and give me a hand. He wouldn't say why or what for or what are you going to do for me. He'd be there. You'd see, before you'd hung up the phone, you'd see his lights coming up the driveway. I'm exaggerating a little bit. And I learned a lot from him, and he probably learned a bit from me as well. And I thought about it, and since then I've always called the Italians and the Greeks the Aborigines of Europe, because when we talk about Western food, what it is it's food that's been selectively bred and domesticated from the wild. So it's basically bush tucker from other countries. And I could talk for too long about that, so I'll do what Dale did, hit the stop button and ask Vince to come up from the Slow Food Movement and give you a perspective on food and his opinions of Aboriginal culture. Thanks, Vince.
Oh, that was a bit of a surprise. I wasn't here for that. Well, as you probably heard from Dale, what slow food is about the culture, tradition, and food, and the respect of the land. Now, by chance, one of our main events is called Terra Madre, which in Italian is motherland. So the respect of the land, the respect of the mother, the respect of the land is very important for people in this sort of movement. We started quite a few years back in '86 when McDonald's decided want to open a McDonald's in the square in Rome, in Piazza di Spagna. We say enough is enough. We cannot amalgamate and destroy the food tradition around the world by changing the system with something which is already not healthy, not good for our people. So this small group of people will start to decide, they start to create this small society. They start to talk with people, try to engage them to a different level, and talking about the food as it is in its own way, as has been always been. So they initially start with a very small idea. So they start to have a meeting and have a look at this variety of food, and talking about wine, because food and wine goes always together in the modern things, but it goes always together. And slowly that movement grow in a completely different section. Today, slow food is an international movement. It is present around 160 countries around the world. And what we are very proud of, we're looking for the people that sustain the land. They work on the land in a sustainable way. We do this in a very enjoyable thing. We like to enjoy ourselves when we do our gathering. We know boring people getting there, oh my God, everything is being destroyed, so what are we doing here and that? No, we go there, we use whatever is there, whatever is left. That is a very important message. Before there I was talking about, and the other guy was talking about what is on the land. We should preserve what is on the land. We should preserve those traditions. We should preserve and give to the young kids the opportunity of trying. I always say I tried a beautiful peach when I was young kids, because I got to the horse of my uncle, I picked from the tree, put in my mouth. Today I cannot eat the peach from the supermarket because my food memory still goes back to that picture. And I think that is the same with the Aboriginal people. They have that knowledge, they have that connection with the food they have been always eating, and today probably they won't find anymore. So we need to establish that sort of connectivity with the food and with the land. What I can say, I have been in contact with the Aboriginal people through Dell, and I am very happy about it, because it's actually a connection, and I think it's a connection with any food society around the world. We all have the same, we all share the same sort of interest. We share the same sort of knowledge. That is the knowledge about the land, about the food that the land can produce. Now, unfortunately, there is a very difficult time, because there's a lots of say multinational looking at the land and looking at the food as a commodity, and not anymore as the food that sustain the people. So I always say, you know, piece of food. At the end of the day, if I hit a piece of kangaroo, that piece of kangaroo in an hour, 2 hours, become Vince Velletri. So it's important that food is food. It's important that food has got something in it that help my body to grow. And I have to pay respect for that animals or vegetables that give the life for myself. So it's that connection, that correlation that we tend to forget. Today we're talking about food as a commodity. Food is not a commodity. It's essential for our life. So when we put value on the food, that we actually, the other problem that we push this society to forget about what is the value of the food. We most of the time we put more value on our telephone. You know, you got your beautiful car, That tomorrow is not become Vince Velletri. It's still a car, it's still a phone, it's still a land. So it is important that we give back that the importance and the value to the food, because that's what we are. So I would say probably I can't say a bit more of that, but I think there's more other people that are more interested than me in talking about bush food, because that's what I'm here for, not about slow food. So thanks very much for your attention. I hope you can have a look at the slow food movement as an ally with the Aboriginal people, with the bush tucker, so we can together make the people understanding that the food is very important for any society. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Vince. That's the end of the speeches, I think. I just want to acknowledge a few people who are here. Up the back there with the rock t-shirt on from Antar, Paul Desmond, committee member of Antar, and one of those people who just turns up any time that you need a hand. John Waller, who's got an aquaculture system for you to have a look at. We've also got free marri trees from the Murdoch Community Garden. So if you got space, or you know, here he is, John Waller in the green t-shirt, president of the Murdoch Community Garden. And I've also already mentioned Lois, and sitting next to her, Dave Johnson, who gave us the sound system to use. And in a minute, you're going to hear why Dave's one of those people who's always doing community stuff, and behind the St. Pat's Community Choir, and just does some amazing things in society. So I'll just say a little bit more about the food stuff. The idea of waste is, we say waste is a state of mind, like WA, if you get the joke. And even when I was a kid, there was hardly any waste, and now waste has turned into this huge industry. And if you count packaging and all that other rubbish in the general waste thing, you can see what a challenge we've got in moving society to a better place where we're not wasting the resources of our planet that supports our life, you know. And when you think about food, the estimates vary, but it's something like, in the growing and the processing and the eating of food, we're wasting 50% of it, or even more maybe. And there should be laws against it, but instead we have laws that protect that sort of system. So the challenges we have are basically of changing cultural values. So in Australia, that's a pretty funny thing, because the only cultures we have in Australia are the ones we nearly decimated, the different Aboriginal ones all around the country. The idea that a country like Australia, in our present society, that's been here a couple of 100 years, not even the life cycle of a eucalyptus tree, and we reckon we've worked out sustainable society, how to manage our forests, and all that sort of stuff. It's just, you know, it's funny. right? There's a joke that goes, what's the difference between yoghurt and Australia? And the answer is, yoghurt has culture. And the future for Australia is in learning from the values of our many Indigenous cultures and bringing them into our present society so that we can move forward as, I hate to use the word one nation because someone else has already claimed it. I'm not a great fan of fish and chips, but that's what we need to do, is to bring those old understandings, those wise understandings derived from these lands over a long period of time into our present society for these young kids who are walking around and their kids and their grandkids. Because if we don't do that, the future looks pretty dim. You know, with food, there's about 3 days supply in the supermarkets. Right? Now, growing veggies, the quickest thing you can grow and eat is a radish, which takes about 6 weeks. So there's a bit of a gap there. Right? And I think that's where the origin of all these zombie movies came from. You know, people eating each other because what are we going to eat in that interim period? And the only thing there's 2 things I know of besides humans, is the fish and the animals, of course, which are part of bush tucker. So when we think of bush tucker, there's, you know, people think kangaroo and barty grubs and strange things you got to dig up from the ground, but we don't know how to do it yet because we haven't managed to learn off the blackfellas properly. The losing my train of thought there a little bit, but this is just so there's bush tucker, which includes amazing stuff. You know, marron. I was raised in the southwest. I don't say grew up, but raised in the southwest. We had to chase the marron out of our buckets when I was a kid, and nowadays you got to hunt to find them, and that's what we've done to this country in such a short time. In Lois country, in my country, which is the Pilbara, Roban area, barramundi and stuff like that. And of course, all that stuff, crayfish, it's allocated by the market. You don't see it on many blackfellas' tables these days because it's getting sold to the people overseas who've got lots of money. Well, this has to stop. You know, we don't want free trade, we want fair trade. And not trade necessarily with other countries. Make sure everyone in this country is doing all right first. Stop button. Okay, sorry, I can keep going forever. Aunty Josie, are you ready? Now, Aunty Josie, in case you don't know, was a Miss Perth. Hey. And her mother was who's unfortunately passed away.
1962, a long time ago.
1962, she reckoned. And she's just amazing, positive, happy, creative person. I won't say any more about it, I'll let her show it to you. You right to go, Aunty Joss? And she's also got some bush cream she's made using sandalwood for sale up there if you've got money and you need Christmas presents for someone who's really special.
Okay, I'm not a very good speaker,
Oh, I get
public
that.
speaker. I'm really a good storyteller, better. So I've chosen to sing on New land today. So thank you for letting me sing on your land today. And the song that I'd like to sing is called the Bush Song. And it's really through the eyes of Aboriginal people. Oh, the bush in the sunshine is calling to me. Where comes the songs of magpies, glad and free? The west wind softly sighs, so cool and so deep, as the windbirds with their breezes they come. I'm a true Aussie, dark-skinned by birth, but I understand the ways of nature and its mirth. All of these things are calling to me. In this atmosphere, I feel so free. The city people are like busy bees, racing here and there to pay their fees, placing their values in worldly things, not the peace that nature brings. Oh, I love to see the golden wattles rise up into the deep blue skies. The kookaburra's laughter through tall gum trees. That's home, sweet home, hopefully to you, all of you. I love to see the golden water. So I've sung that before. So, till we see the rising of the sun. I've forgotten the last verse. Thank you very much for having me.
Your mother was an amazing traditional woman. Can you tell us a little bit about how she saw country and what you learned from her?
My mother was a scientist without a white man's ticket. She was in the space world. And that's where you people need to go, back to the space world, to sit with the people who can't read and write. They will teach you all about the balance you need. We have to have balance every day in your lives. Little kids have to have balance. You have to go back into that space world and sit with people who can't read and write, and they will teach you it. Like my mother couldn't read and write, and she sat under the trees every day, and nature told her the time. The planet doesn't think in time. Scientists can try all day trying to work out the time with the planet. They will never find it. Aboriginal people have the gift. We have the gift of nature. And you're welcome to sit in our world and listen to it. You will learn a lot. And in my mother's world, she sat in the trees every day watching the time when the birds brought her the time. She didn't have a watch like us. She watched the space world. She knew the colours of the bush that told her the time of the month. And that's what she taught us. Bush is yellow, the wattle's out. And when I tell kids in schools today, I say, look out the window. Don't look at Hungry Jack's. Don't look at Woolworths. Look at the colour. It's yellow. It tells you it's springtime. And look at there now. You've got all the orange trees going through the bush here. I bet none of you know that's Christmas time in a white calendar world. But in Aboriginal world, in that calendar time, it tells you snakes are poisonous. Don't walk through there. Look around when you walk. So all those colours. We grew up with colours, sounds and smells. That's your teaching. Learning the colours, sounds and smells of the bush. Once you get in that, you will be forever in the bush. And you'll understand what is happening. You don't see it till you pull the wool from your eyes. Lift your veils and see colours, smells, sounds of the bush. Identify sounds of the bush. You will know what it will mean in here in your hearts. And thank you to the lovely Greg for letting me borrow his guitar.
Okay, well, sing us out. We'll put Greg on next. The Aunty Josie, how much are your bush creams? You want it? How much are they?
They're $10.
$10. Well, I'll tell you what. She usually sells them to me for 20. So if they're only $10 a day, you better grab a few. And except for me rattling on, there's no more speakers today. So we're into the music and entertainment part. I imagine most of you here know Greg Hastings. He's a Welshman. He's been hanging out in this country for a while. He's hung out with blackfellas a long time. I first saw him perform up in Broome about 1987, I think it was. And yeah, Greg.
Thank you, John. Hello, everybody. Well, it's a pity there's not 60,000 people here.
People here from 60,000 years ago.
Hey, well, yeah. well done. I love that. Hey, Lois, how you doing, darling? I haven't said hello yet. Come over in a minute. Well, sing a song. So I like people to join in. It's been one of the things I've done as an entertainer over the last 40 years. Your bit goes, give me love, give me joy, give me peace and harmony. If you can sing that, I'll play the tune in a minute once I finish fiddling with my... Have I got my capo with me? No, I haven't. Oh, his phone's going off everywhere. Give me love, give me joy, give me peace and harmony. That's your bit. Hang on. Doesn't sound right to me. That's better. I got to sing over the top of you, but I got a microphone, so you just go, give me love, give me joy, give me peace and harmony. Give me love, give me joy, give me peace and harmony. Give me, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. Try, I tell you, can the other three join in with the two that's singing? Give me... one of the reasons say, you don't perform very much now, Greg, and I say no, because I've so many times I've had to ask an audience to join hands to contact the living. Because technology's turned us into zombies. Used to say to people 40 years ago in the Mucky Duck, when I played in the Mucky Duck, join in, and they join in like that. Now, it's like, join in? Oh, that me? Oh, yeah. So anyway, I'll just sing the bloody song. Give me love, give me joy, give me peace and harmony. Give me peace and harmony. But there's bulldozers on the trees today. Bulldozers on the trees. Bulldozers on the trees today. Bulldozers on the trees. Oh, give me harmony. Give me love. Give me joy. Give me peace and harmony. But there's bulldozers on the beach today. Bulldozers on the beach. Bulldozers on the beach today. Bulldozers on the beach. So give me joy. Give me peace and harmony. Give me love. Give me joy. Give me peace and harmony. But there's bulldozers on the lake today. Bulldozers on the lake. Bulldozers on the lake today. Bulldozers on the lake. So give me love, give me joy, give me peace and harmony. Give me love, give me joy, give me peace and harmony. Yes, I know it's time we should sing peace and harmony. Yes, I know it's time we should sing for peace and harmony. Give me love, give me joy, give me peace and harmony. Oh, give me and harm. Last time. Give me love, give me joy, give me peace and harmony. Give me love, give me joy, give me peace and harmony. One more.
Before you sing one more, you spend a lot of time up north and down here hanging out with blackfellas. Tell us in 1 minute only, otherwise I'll have to hit your stop button if you're going to sing another song. What's the best thing you've learnt from blackfellas?
I get asked that question all the time. They had no greed. They had no greed. It wasn't mine, it's ours. And I just blew me away. I've often said to Indigenous people, and I love to say it, I was born in Wales and I have an English surname, so I suffered a lot from racial prejudice, and I was the same colour as the Welsh people around me. When I came to this country, it wasn't very long before I started finding very sacred places that I wondered what was about. Then I actually met the people. And whenever I meet Aboriginal people that feel a bit down, I always look at them and say, you know, I thought I was on the wrong planet until I met your mob. Solid, hey. And this is so true. It rescued my life because I thought people shouldn't be like this. Hated school. Hated school. And then I heard a black fella say, you know, when a white fella invented the machine, he needed a machine to work the machine. That's why you got school, eh? And I watch all these machines every morning going off. I think, I wonder will they wake up one day? But they are, because now the climate's changing, and it's going to change very drastically, I'm afraid to tell you, as the old elders said to me in the Kimberley back in 1988. You torment Mother Nature, she's going to torment you. And we're in for a bit of torment. And we'll have to come together like the people before that lived on this land. All right, I'll finish off with, what shall I sing? One without the guitar. I started singing without the guitar years ago. I turned professional playing a lagerphone with the duck. Anyway, this one's called No Strangers. It's off one of my albums. They're all $10, my albums, and I have them at home. And home is that van with the pop top. There are no strangers, just friends I've not met, and my time on the road has been long. Thanks to you folks who have opened your hearts, where we shared a good yarn and a song. From where the sun sets to where it will rise, from Darwin to old Hobart Town. Fond are the memories that I will recall till the next time that I pass around. Some people ask me why I wrote From Where the Sun Sets to Where It Will Rise. I said I wrote the song in the middle of the night. This country of this country of ours is a land full of jewels, like stars can be seen in the sky. From the rugged hill crest to the wide open plains, with colours to make a man cry. From where the sun sets to where it will rise, from Darwin to old Hobart Town. Fond are the memories that I will recall till the next time that I pass around. I've sung my songs in city and bush, and to folks that I've met on the road. It brought to my life a richness of soul that nobody's wealth could afford. From where the sun sets to where it will rise, from Darwin to old Hobart Town. Fond are the memories that I will recall till the next time that I pass around. Yes, I've been a gypsy for many a year, and a gypsy long will I roam. Freedom's a place where my heart can sing, and this is the place I call home. From where the sun sets to where it will rise, from Darwin to old Hobart Town. Fond are the memories that I will recall, till the next time that I pass around. Thank you all for coming and supporting this beautiful thing. Share the love. Thank you so. John, where are you, mate? Over there. We got Lois. Oh, she's having a drink of water. It's got some music on today, bands and people, and lots of lovely people. Chris in the background over there who's working his arms off, doing things. This bearded wonder here. John, over to you.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. That was lovely. There's a, I look around. There's all sorts of people I should acknowledge, but there's where is he? Oh, here comes the wind. It's lovely. The spirits are stirring up the dirt. In our culture up north, Willy, and lots of other parts of Australia, Willy Willies is a sign of spirit. And don't forget the language display over there, Wanju. Wanju means welcome together, and of course it's great to see you all here. It's just fantastic. We call language and music a country. Sitting on the ground here, I've got Graham from my house who came down and helped set up early. And where's Robin Scott? Oh, there he is there. Robin, you probably saw him on TV. What? Is that my stop button? Get out. And Robin, you probably saw him on TV. The Monash Coppers gave him a move on notice for standing up for that this wetland area that basically surrounds us. And Lois told me to stop. I better stop, I guess, or I might get flogged. You got to watch out for these girls from up north. But I want to say thank you very much to all of you for coming. I hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll be running similar events throughout next year. We hope to have Bruce Pascoe, who wrote Dark Emu, and we hope, there's that great song From Little Things Grow, and even though today's not that small, and it's going to get bigger with the music this afternoon, we hope that today is the starting impulse for something that's going to grow quite a lot. She reckons she can sing, and I think she's going to sing without accompaniment a beautiful song. And one more thing, and Lois will be singing on the stage later on today too. But when people are saying Happy Christmas, Merry Festive Season, in Noongar language, and I mightn't get the pronunciation exactly right, they say Quop Berak. And Berak is the season for this time of year when the Christmas trees are out, the orange Christmas trees. And Quop means good or happy or something like that. So we hope you all have a Quop Berak, and we'll have for sale later on some Christmas cards featuring Lois as Nana Christmas, and with a bit of Noongar language on you. So if you know anyone who would love to learn some Noongar, or someone who you think needs to learn some Noongar, come and see us about our Christmas cards. Stop.
Pause. Okay. I'll just sing this one song because I'll be singing over here in a minute. So I'll do an a cappella song called Lucky Old Sun, which Katie Lang, I'm inspired by beautiful singers like Billie Holiday, Katie Lang, Ella Fitzgerald. I love all the old beautiful sentimental jazz songs. So Katie Lang is one lady, very special lady, and I'd like to sing one of her songs for you. Lucky Old Sun. Up in the morning, out on the road, work like the devil for my pay.
lucky old sun got nothing to do. Roll around heaven all day. I fuss with my lover, toil for my kid, work till I'm wrinkled and grey. And that lucky old sun got nothing to do. Roll around heaven all day. Lord up above, can't you see I'm pining? Tears well in my eyes. Send me a cloud with a silver lining. Lift me to paradise. Show me a river, take me across. Wash all my troubles away. And that lucky old sun got nothing to do. Yes, roll around heaven all day. Yes, roll around heaven all day. Lucky old sun. Lucky I'm a sunshine kid.
She's going to go and sit in the sun over there and see if she can get a suntan. And sun, which reminded me, Lois on the committee of Antar, but she's also on the committee of a project that Antar supports, which is called SUN, Sustainable Urban Nutrition. It's about growing food without waste and sharing it. We give food to Food Bank and South Care and St Pat's sometimes, Tent Embassy. So, beautiful song to finish with. Thank you very much, Lois. And I'd like you all to put your hands together for this beautiful country we all walk on and for everybody who's here today. Thank you, and we hope you had a great time.